Coming up on the Lakers Report, we're going to take a look at the latest Russell Westbrook trade destinations. But first, the offseason is here for Los Angeles, and it's a pivotal one for the Lakers. So if you want to stay in the know with everything going down with this basketball team, we have you covered here on the channel with multiple videos per week covering the latest Lakers news and rumors. So either hit that red subscribe button down below or be a part of the 150 people who have already subscribed this week and go to youtube.com/LakersTV. Welcome into the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. As I mentioned off the top of the show, we're going to take a look at the latest Russell Westbrook trade destinations, new teams factoring into the equation, especially with all of the latest rumors and reports out there about where Russell Westbrook could play in 2022-2023. Now, let's first set the foundation here because there's a lot of money at play for Russell Westbrook and the team that takes on his contract. I do imagine that Russ is going to opt in to the $47 million option for the next coming season. The Lakers may have to eat some of that contract if they do want to deal him, and even if they have to eat some of that salary, I think it's in their best interest to do so. This fit with Russ on this roster last year simply didn't work for a variety and a plethora of reasons, and I think for the Lakers, they have to find a way to cut bait, even if they take on some of those dollars to get rid of him. Trade him somewhere else so that you can build out a more well-rounded roster around LeBron James and most likely Anthony Davis. So before we get to the Russell Westbrook trade destinations, I want to hear from Laker Nation in the comment section, and I want you to treat the comment section like a sports talk radio call-in line. Russell Westbrook struggled this past year. There's no doubt about it. So how much do you blame Russ for the Lakers' struggles as a team? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. 1, not at all. 10, he was the culprit. Let me know in the comment section down below. First, Russell Westbrook trade destination. We have to start off with the Charlotte Hornets. Reports out there that the Lakers had kind of loosely checked in on Gordon Hayward, the big one that a lot of fans like, Terry Rozier. We talked about that on yesterday's show. That video certainly popped off. So trade idea number 1, here it is for you. We did our due diligence and cooked up a juicy trade for you. Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, and Nick Richards going to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Hornets receive Russell Westbrook, a second-round pick in 2023, and a second-round pick in 2024. Now, for Nick Richards, there is a $1.6+ million trade exception on him, so you have to factor that into the equation as well. I like this trade idea as compared to trading for Gordon Hayward because I think Terry Rozier gives you a lot more pop offensively, and you don't have to worry about the injury concerns that come along with Gordon Hayward and all the baggage that does ensue. Trade destination number 2 for Russ. It's a familiar destination in the Houston Rockets. Obviously, he played with James Harden for a little while in H-Town, and for a little while, him and James Harden were putting up monster numbers, but the Rockets are in a position right now where they have a lot of really, really intriguing young pieces on that roster, so would they take on an older player in Russ? Maybe it could serve as a salary cap dump-off destination for Los Angeles, but here's the trade idea. The Lakers receive Christian Wood, who's kind of been embattled a little bit in Houston. I'm not sure they want him as part of that core moving forward because already they do have a pretty nice core without Christian Wood. Eric Gordon, an aging player who we'll talk about here momentarily, who put up monster three-point shooting numbers last year, and David Nwaba. Rockets receive Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, who didn't even play a game for LA this year, a 2029 first-round pick, which is lottery protected, and a second-round pick in 2023. Let's take a look at Christian Wood and what he was able to do with Houston in 2 years. Really came on as a good modern-day big who can stretch the floor and knock down some threes, as a big who can kind of mix and match down low and outside. 19 points per game, nearly 10 rebounds. Those numbers are really, really good. Nearly 51% from the floor and 38% from beyond the arc. I kind of like Eric Gordon's roster fit because you think about the Lakers' struggles last year. What were they missing? What was this roster bereft of? Shooting, and that's what Eric Gordon did at a very elite rate a season ago. He was able to knock down 41% of his three-point attempts, tied for 13th in the NBA, his best mark since the 2014-2015 season. So Eric Gordon, Christian Wood coming back to Los Angeles for the package centered around Russell Westbrook. If Rob Pelinka can pull that off, I like what that trade brings to the table. A lot of you might say, Christian Wood as well as Anthony Davis, I don't know how it works. I want more talented players on this roster because last year they didn't have enough of them. Now, if you want to get your bets in during the NBA playoffs, future bets for the future NFL season, you can do so with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. 125% deposit bonus if you go to chatsports.com/Lakers and the promo code Lakers125. Because this is an NBA show focused on the Lakers, let's take a look at the NBA title odds. Phoenix Suns still leading the way at plus 200. Milwaukee Bucks now in second place at plus 450. Golden State Warriors have looked like vintage Golden State so far in 2 games against the Nuggets, plus 550 odds to win the NBA championship, followed by the Boston Celtics at 750 and Miami Heat at 8-1 odds. Let's just say you put $1 down for Miami to win the NBA championship, you get about $8 back. That's how the betting odds work. And if you want to get those bets in, use that link at the bottom of your screen as well as that promo code Lakers125. We move ahead in today's show, continuing to take a look at the latest Russell Westbrook trade destinations. And I want to throw the Indiana Pacers in here as well because of the long admiration that the Lakers front office, this current regime, has had for Buddy Hield. But even better than Buddy Hield, and on top of getting Buddy Hield, how about the Lakers also receive Malcolm Brogdon, the former Rookie of the Year, very good longtime guard for the Milwaukee Bucks, now with the Indiana Pacers, got paid last offseason because this guy has a lot of talent. Injury issues have just been a big issue for him. So by getting Buddy Hield and Malcolm Brogdon, 2 players on pretty solid contracts in terms of the money, you get rid of the Russell Westbrook salary and that about $10 million per year number for Talen Horton-Tucker, as well as that coveted 2027 first-round pick that's lottery protected. Look, I understand that the Lakers don't have much draft assets up until 2027. If you want 2 players back, you have to give something up. That's what that first-round pick signifies in this particular trade idea. Brogdon in 36 games this year, 19 points per game after signing that contract extension, shot around 45% from the floor and about 31% from beyond the arc. Buddy Hield, on the other hand, started to turn the corner after a little bit of a sluggish shooting season with the Sacramento Kings. He got it together with Indiana, and I thought he played good down the stretch. Shot nearly 41% from the deck and 37% from downtown. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for multiple videos per week and some of the most entertaining and informative Lakers coverage right here on YouTube. And throughout this offseason, we certainly have you covered. Free agency and trade rumors, Lakers head coaching search. We always keep you up to date with that. When news happens, we bring you videos, interactive mailbags where we take all of your questions. Let's do our best and get the 43,000 subs and continue to grow on the momentum that we have been building here on the Lakers Report. Just hit that red subscribe button down below. Also on yesterday's show, we did something fun. We did something light. I wanted those of you who watched the entire show to correctly identify how many times I said the word future. A lot of you got some of your answers into the comments section, and here is the correct answer. One dude said I probably said it 25 times. Not quite. I said future 10 times on yesterday's show, so now it's time to give shout-outs for those of you who got your guesses in. Trey Cotright, Peter Man Johns, Clifford Vereen, Matt Haskins, and Try Hard Faded. If you're getting faded for 420, I don't blame you. And if you're celebrating 420, enjoy your celebrations. We move ahead in our Russell Westbrook trade destinations. It is the Lakers Report, after all, based in California. I'm just going by the legality of Mary Jane in the California state. New York Knicks. So the Knicks have loosely checked in on Russell Westbrook over the last couple of years, and they just had a bad season this past year. The Knicks and the Lakers, maybe 2 of the most disappointing teams this past campaign. Lakers receive Evan Fournier in this particular trade idea, Alec Burks, Kemba Walker, and Cam Reddish, a good young player who I think hasn't fully tapped into his potential yet. The Knicks get a playmaking guard and playmaking point guard that they really need, and some star power that always bodes well in the Mecca. Kendrick Nunn also makes his way from Los Angeles to our #1 media market, and the Knicks also get a 2023 second-round pick. For this particular trade, the Lakers are able to get some depth. They get some playmaking. They get some scoring ability. I don't know if Kemba Walker can play any longer, but I like Evan Fournier as like a 3rd, 4th, or 5th piece. Alec Burks coming in off the bench can be that 6th man, and Cam Reddish as a player who has untapped potential. That's why I like this particular trade idea as well. one final surprise trade for Russell Westbrook is coming up here right around the corner, and it involves arguably the hottest team in the NBA that is deadlocked in a phenomenal first-round series with the Brooklyn Nets. That is the Boston Celtics. Now, if you watched Sunday's game between the Celtics and the Nets, you were like, wow, this is a throwback Al Horford game on defensive switches. During times where he needed to make a play, he did. He looked like 2014, 2015 vintage Al Horford. But let's just say that the Celtics are tight on cash and they want to bring in Russell Westbrook as a playmaking option, even though Marcus Smart just won Defensive Player of the Year. First point guard to do that, I believe, since Isaiah Thomas. I could be wrong. Who is it? Since Gary Payton. Okay, I knew it was one of the greats. Gary Payton, Marcus Smart, great year. But he's never been a prototypical point guard, so maybe Russell Westbrook could be that. Lakers get Al Horford and Derek White. Celtics get Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, who continues to be one of those throw-in players with these trades. That 2027 first-round pick and second-round picks in 23 as well as 2024. As for what Horford was able to do this past year, was able to kind of inject some new life into his career. He was bad with the Sixers, and it was obviously an on-court clash playing alongside Joel Embiid. Then they get rid of him and send him to OKC, where basically he was told to stay home so that OKC could play some of their younger players. But then he goes back to Boston, where he has some familiarity, has had a lot of success, 29 minutes per game, 10 points per, almost 8 rebounds, and he connected on about 47% of his shot opportunities. For Derek White, this defensive chops, backcourt flexibility, a guy who can create off the dribble, shoot some threes, even though he struggled in that regard from beyond the arc with the Boston Celtics thus far. But defensive chops and backcourt flexibility is something that this Lakers roster needs. I want youth. I want athleticism. I want speed. I want versatility. And at the end of the day, I want more talent on this Lakers roster. So there you go. Multiple trade ideas for Russell Westbrook. Our updated list from back a couple months ago. You tell me in the comment section which trade idea is your favorite. Charlotte, Houston, Indiana, New York, or Boston. We just went through 5 of them and we're flashing them up quickly on your screen. Let me know which trade idea you like the most by typing CHAHOUINDNYK or BOS for Boston. Appreciate all of you for rocking and rolling with us on another Lakers report. Don't forget to subscribe for the best Lakers coverage all throughout the offseason.